Russ, you coming back next year? Do you want to come back next year?
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, obviously, I love it here and everything else, and I think we have a great football team. Obviously, it didn't go in the way we wanted it to, and I think there's a lot more to do. And so I said to you guys before, I always just trust God in the process and all that.
I know you had that interview earlier in the season before the Thursday night game where you talked about wanting to play at least 5 more years.
Yeah.
Is that the priority to get the longest term deal possible, or is it the best deal?
That's always been my plan, is to play as long as possible. I've said that since I was a rookie. That's always been my kind of thought process. I feel great physically, mentally, emotionally. If you want to play 20 plus years, you got to love it. And I love the process. I love the mentality, and I love competing with my teammates. So that's always been the plan. And so I just trust the process and trust that we'll have those conversations when the time comes.
Russ, how would you assess how you played this year?
I thought I played well. I thought that there's moments I wish I played a little bit better. I feel like I had 2 kind of plays that I wish I had back, to be honest with you. The one in Kansas City and the one in the Ravens game, just kind of put the ball inside. Other than that, those 2 plays in particular, I competed and I tried to give my all. Obviously, felt like we didn't play good enough, when we needed to as a team, but I think that I hated missing games. I hated missing those first 6 games. I don't really miss games like that, and that kind of was just disappointing. But I love how guys made plays. I love the teammates. I love just seeing how George made plays, how Calvin really became a big person for us in the season. I thought guys like Pat and all that, and I thought just from a leadership standpoint, I gave my all every day. And I think that's the best thing you can always try to give.
Russ, you have been on playoff winning teams, Super Bowl winning teams. Mm-hmm. What is this team missing?
I think missing is the wrong word. I just think that we got to recalibrate and get sharper on a couple things here and there, and continue to grow, continue to evolve. I think we're young, especially on offense. We'll continue to grow and all that. But I think that. I just think that we weren't able to finish, and we obviously didn't start good enough in games. I think that always helps us when you get ahead a little bit early. So we got to figure that part out.
Yes, when you say that's the plan to come back, have you expressed that to the Steelers, and have they kind of reciprocated that to you?
I think they've known that I've always wanted to be here and play here, but there's also a process. We haven't had those meetings yet. So that we'll have those, and we'll go from there.
What about the situation here makes you want to come back?
I just love the guys. I love the locker room. I love Coach Tomlin. I love who he is. I think that, obviously this place is a place that I think can win a lot and all that stuff too. And I think we have a championship caliber football team. Like I said, it didn't go the way we wanted to this year. But I love playing football. I love playing the game. And if it works out that way, then I'll be excited to do that and put the black and gold on again.
Where do you find the most untapped potential in this offense, and what you guys need to do that you think you really could do next season if you were returning?
I think explosive plays is always huge. I think we had a lot of good ones down the field. I mean, we had some huge chunks down the field, plays, passes, guys caught, make great plays. I think just finding explosive plays earlier in the game too. I think it's always key. You're always looking for those, 7 to 10 explosive plays a game, whether it's through the running game, pass game. I think those always help. And then I just think continue to mature. I think we're a team that's growing every day.
2 more. What was that, Russ? The slow starting stuff, because you guys are a pretty good team, especially when you're really cooking there at 10-3, coming out of the locker room at halftime. Like, you're good at quick adjustments. What were the issues leading into games?
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at the last game, the playoff game. Obviously, I thought how we were super aggressive and guys making plays and all that stuff in the second half. We did a really good job of that. We didn't waver in our mentality. I thought that we didn't give in, and a lot of people do, to be honest with you. I don't think we did. I thought that we made plays when throughout that game. I'm just thinking about the 98-yard drive that we had, backed up, and Calvin making the play over the middle, and guys making big plays, Van scoring his touch, and then coming back. I think GP scoring, and just that's a testament of who we are. I think that at the end of the day, though, it's how do we execute early, and all that. And I think that we went, 17, 18 games without doing that. So I think that's something that, moving forward, that you always want to be able to do. And it doesn't define the game. It doesn't, but it also definitely helps the game. I got one more quick question. I got to go.
Russ, you said 2 plays you want it back. We talked about the pick six and bowl.
Yeah, I mean, you never want to. But, it's part of the National Football League. You play and you go after it. And, but I think also too, there's a lot of plays that we did make that were huge. I think that some of the balls down the field, some of the, I just think that we had some really great explosive plays throughout the season, and just love the guys that we have and how we compete.
What sort of lessons do you guys take from this season?
A lot of things, obviously. Offensive side of the ball, just got to execute when the games get tough and start off faster. I think that's one of the biggest things going into the offseason is as a guy that's going to be here is to figure out ways to start faster and execute better in high intensity games.
Do you feel like you guys are any closer to where you want to be than you were a year ago or a couple of years before that? Or
Absolutely.
Do you feel like you're running, what gives you that? Why do you feel that way?
Yeah, obviously, we started off the season how we wanted to. We were 10-3 at one point with a game going into Baltimore with a chance to win the division, and so that was the first time we were able to have that opportunity since I've been here. So I feel like we're going in the right direction as an offense and as a team for sure. But obviously we got to figure out how to finish stronger in the last part of the season.
You guys talked a lot about going into the season about being a better running team and being able to control the line of scrimmage. Obviously, it didn't play out down the stretch. What did you guys not do to be that team this year?
Yeah, like you said, we weren't able to do that for some reason in the later part of the year. Early on, we were able to be that physical team, and for whatever reason, later on in the year we weren't able to do that. And so that's something that as individuals you got to look yourselves in the mirror and ask yourselves what you could have done better, and as a whole figure out how we can be better at that moving forward. So just got to figure it out. And I think, like I'm going to say probably the whole time, is just execution. Especially there's been a bunch of clips from watching the film that we just weren't, for whatever reason, weren't executing.
Do you like the way you were used? Do you feel like you could have been used more, or you kind of?
Yeah, I'm happy with my role. And I'm set a career high in catches and tied my career high in touchdowns. And obviously there's plays left out for me to make that I didn't make. Obviously, we talk about the drop against the Bengals in that last. Starting the game off against the Ravens with a drop, and so there's certain situations where I feel like I could have been better for sure. And that's all part of the growth and learning experience. Earlier on, my second, even last year early on, I was getting hammered for my blocking, and I felt like I developed this year as a capable blocker. And it's all about development. And I'm happy with the way my trajectory of my game's going. Just got to continue to be a leader and continue to grow as my career grows. So a lot of positives for myself, but we didn't finish with the Super Bowl title, and so obviously back to the drawing board and figure out ways to get better.
Do you feel like you're close to a Super Bowl team? Wow. Do you feel like you're close to it? You mentioned Super Bowl. You feel like you're close?
I do. Obviously, we clinched the playoffs with, I think, 3 or 4 weeks left. Obviously, got to finish stronger, but we just got to figure out that to get over that next hurdle. We 0-3 in the wild card in my career, and so we just got to figure out a way to get to the divisional, get to the AFC Championship, and get to the Super Bowl. And I have the utmost confidence in the organization and guys that on this roster to get that done.
Pat, what do you think happens to quarterback next year?
Couldn't tell you, and that's not for me to decide. That's for upstairs to decide. And yeah.
When you guys were really cooking at 10-3, like when you were at your height, like one of the talking points was how good you guys were coming out of the locker room, making adjustments at halftime. So what's the disconnect between how good you were in the second half of games, making in-games adjustments there, as opposed to like a week of lead-up where it wasn't there in the first quarter?
Yeah, just execution. I know you guys have heard it all the time, but I feel like it really comes down to that is the execution of trying to be on the same page earlier on in games. That's obviously something that as players we got to take pride in and figure that out from on our end. And so we were all happy with the game plans, and we just got to figure out and execute better. When we were rolling, no one was talking about the game plans, and so just come down to execution and asking yourselves individually how you can get better from that.
And is there anything within the offseason or approach or anything that can improve that execution that may be missing right now?
Yeah, I guess guys just figuring out what they can do individually to come in and get better, especially in the offseason. This is a big offseason for a lot of guys on offense. Young guys trying to take that next step. Myself trying to take that next step as a complete player, complete tight end. So it's a big season for a lot of us, and so we have our goals in mind that obviously everyone knows, try and win a playoff game and try to win the Super Bowl. So whatever that takes, individually, collectively, we got to do it.
Like you said, you're going to be here.
Yep.
You're one of the guys who are going to be here. But how much do you brace for change on days like this, whether that's quarterback or a guy like Najee who's been here with you from the beginning?
Yeah, hopefully, Naj can come back here. Love seeing him in the black and gold, one of my best friends on the team. And, that's what is upsetting, maybe not being able to be with a guy like that I've been with 4 years and trying to, make the city proud and win a playoff game and win a Super Bowl and stuff. We weren't able to get it done, but hopefully he'll be back here with me and all the guys, especially Dan and stuff.
Pat, are you guys as an offense built in a way that you can compete in a shootout with a team like the Ravens, or do you think that that's something that this offense needs to kind of compete with that next tier of teams?
We put up there's games where we put up multiple points. We're in a shootout. We were in a shootout with the Bengals in Cincinnati that we won, so it's there. We just got to, figure out how to, take what the defense has given us on a consistent basis and figure out as collectively what we can do to, score more points.
When you close on a 5-game losing streak, there's going to be criticism of the coach and the coaching staff. What do you, as players and as you personally, what's your faith in the coaches and the coaching staff?
I have the utmost faith in the coaching staff. Without Coach T, we wouldn't have been able to be in the playoffs. And we all love Coach T. He's a great leader, great coach. I wish you guys could be in those meetings. And I think a lot of people see those Hard Knocks meetings. There's a lot of good ball being talked about, and it's a collective basis. It's just not on the coaches, right? Like, the coaches can put us in situations, and there's some games where we're running the plays that we're running against other teams that, schematically speaking, are great plays to run against them, but for whatever reason we're not executing it. So it's a collective. Coach got to take criticism, players got to take criticism, and there's obviously going to be criticism when we close the season on a 5-game losing streak. So that's warranted, but we got to figure out ways, especially in the offseason and next season, to get the train rolling.
You mentioned that there's uncertainty at quarterback. The running game didn't necessarily take the step forward that you expected. Najee might not be back next year. What do you have offensively that you can build upon that you said we made progress here and we can count on this next season to continue?
Yeah, I think you got to look at, the young guys that we have. We got Broderick, we got Troy, obviously missed the year with an injury and stuff. We got guys that Jalen's obviously going to have a big role, and so we got guys that are going to, obviously GP. We got guys that need to, step up, and myself included, and we got to take that leadership role. And whatever happens, free agency or whoever we bring in, we got to let them know what the standard is and what it means to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Obviously, we weren't able to get that done this year. Obviously, we're trying our goal to win a playoff game in the Super Bowl, but there's no time for laying down. There's a solution every time I'm in this building to figure out a way to get that job done.
How much of the lack of execution is blown assignments, and how much of it is just getting beat? And, how do you parse that?
Obviously it's it's here and there, whatever. If it's getting beat or if it's execution based, it's all there. I wouldn't say put a percentage on it, but there's things that look, you're gonna get beat sometimes. They get paid too, and so. Obviously you're going to learn from that, and you want to grow from those situations of getting beat. But execution-based, you should be able to execute your assignments, and I'm at fault for that as well. So, you just got to figure it out, and
Pat, I know you can't talk about the future, like what's going to happen at quarterback, but what can you say about what these quarterbacks have meant to this offense? Justin starting the first 6 games, Russ, what they've done for you guys as leaders, as players, and people.
Yeah, these quarterbacks meant a lot. Obviously, Russ having that injury early in camp, helped Justin grow as a player and as a leader. And I said it before in the season, we wouldn't be able to have that string of wins and be able to clinch the playoffs without them working together so well. Obviously, it was tough for Justin that Russ got the nod whenever he did, and we wouldn't be able to have been so successful in that stretch without them being able to coexist. Can't say enough good things about the both of them. And obviously, when Russ was hurt, he was still leading and helping Justin, and vice versa when Russ started. So their dynamic was great for us as an offense, and we'll see what happens in the future. But obviously, we'd love to have both those guys back.
Pat, you mentioned the standard and what it means to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Do you feel that that's different than maybe what it meant to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, the culture the last 10 years, the last 20 years that this organization has built?
I don't. Obviously, we have guys that have been with guys like Troy and Heath, and I played with Ben for a year, and Cam's played with those guys, and same with TJ and Mink and stuff. So we understand the standard, we understand the greatness of the past of the Steelers, and we're trying to fight every way we can to get back there. And obviously it hasn't been what it has been of recent, but we're not going to just lay down and not try. I think part of being a Pittsburgh Steeler is playing for the city, playing for Super Bowls and winning football, and we got to get back to that. And I understand the fans' frustration and everything like that, and we're trying our ass off. Everyone is, and the coaches, the players, we feel it, and we wish we could have won some playoff games this year and made the fans and the city proud, but we're gonna keep going, and that's what it means to be a Steelers. Never give up. So I learned that from Ben, and so you got to keep going. And so that's really the only solution, is to keep going, keep fighting, keep trying, and get back there next year and get into the playoffs and win some games and hopefully get to that goal of winning the Super Bowl.